right, let's get right to it. How you doing, guys? Welcome to ZukaTube, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie called No Exit. Now, this came out in, let's see, came out February 25th on Hulu. So it came out just a few days ago. Holy shit, that's pretty new. Based on a novel by Taylor Adams in 2017. So, bam, I'll pop that up on the screen for anybody who wants to always read the book along with the movie or vice versa, that kind of whole deal. So, I'm going to read the summary. Then I'm going to play this little trailer here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie, give you my overall review, and then we'll go into some spoilers at the end, right? Now, the summary that's listed says, a college student on her way home from visiting her mother gets stuck. That's very weird. On her way home from, okay, that's very weird that it's listed like that. But, okay, so it says a college student on her way home from visiting her mother, and you'll find out why that's a little weird in a second, gets stuck with a group of people at a mountain rest stop during a blizzard. Things take a turn for the worst when the young woman discovers a kidnapped child in a car belonging to one of the people inside, putting the group in a terrifying life-or-death situation as they struggle to escape while trying to discover who among them is a kidnapper. Okay, so that was a very weird summary compared to this. Now, I'm just going to play this trailer, and maybe we'll get a good idea of what I'm talking about right away before I get into it. Here we go.
Darby, 11 days. Honestly, what are we doing here?
I told myself the same thing. Rehab doesn't work, but...
Excuse me, Darby. Phone for you.
Now you see here this girl Darby, she's the main character. She's in a facility. Her mom is in a hospital.
You're back in jail.
So this is what I'm talking about. It's at a college student on her way home from visiting her mother. That's a load of crap. This lady is in a facility going to find where her mother is in a hospital because her mother is sick. False advertisement here.
I have to get to Salt Lake City.
No one's getting through until the storm passes.
Very
They opened
upset.
up the visitor center for some folks.
But this
Wait
broad,
out
she
there.
just breaks out and steals a car. Like, this is ridiculous. It's out of control. I guess at that point, it's the best time to do it because she ain't going to get in trouble.
Ed,
I'm Ash.
Ed is the Allstate guy.
Do you have the Wi-Fi?
No, there's no Wi-Fi.
I got one bar by the tree for about 10 seconds.
Doo-doo-doo. And this is where shit gets wild. Dang. There's a little girl in the van. Now, judging by how much it's snowing, it's got to be very cold in there. Super cold. Look at that creepy dude in the
Hey, are you
corner.
okay? Make yourself comfortable.
Wanna play?
We are here till
I feel like
the
I've seen the
storm
one lady in a
clears.
lot of stuff, the older lady.
Getting you out of here as soon as I can.
Trick is, play the man, not the hand.
Everybody's got a tail, huh? What's yours?
You're gonna have to figure that one out for yourself.
Oh man. Allstate guys dropping some wisdom in this movie
I
apparently.
don't want to die here.
We have to go
Are
now.
you in good hands?
Oh, it's gonna be a long night.
Long night. Dun 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 dun. As you can see, things escalate quite a bit. Bam. Okay, so that was the trailer. And yeah, it's different than what the summary says when you search this on Google. So that's pretty weird. But right, it starts with this girl Darby. She's a struggling addict. She's locked in a facility. And she gets an emergency call that her mom's in the hospital, and she can't really call out to anyone. She's not allowed to. And no one wants anything to do with her, apparently, because she's, fucked up, with all her, previous whatever she did. And she decides to escape and go see her mom, right? So she breaks out. She steals a car. She drives off into the stormy night, And she pulls over and kind of like half falls asleep for a second. She has a weird moment. And a cop pulls over to see if she's okay and tells her the interstate is closed and she can either turn back or hit the visitor center. And she's like, all right, I'll go to the visitor center, right? And that's where you see this whole thing in the trailer go down, where she's there. There's a few people there. They kind of get a little oriented with each other for a second when everybody comes in. And then she goes out to try to find a cell phone signal. And boom, that's where she finds the kid in a van kind of deal. So, oh man, kind of wild, right? And she goes out and she periodically is trying to figure out what to do with this kid in the van and everything. And then the whole time she's also still struggling with this whole drug addiction problem because they, put some drugs in the car that she stole. So you do notice that there's a couple different things that she's kind of struggling with in this whole thing. She's kind of freaking out because obviously she stole a goddamn car and broke out of a facility. Then she's going to see her mom, who she's worried about, who, although she doesn't want anything to do with her, it's her mother, right? And she's in a hospital. Then now she's here at this goddamn place. She's got somebody's stash full of drugs that was in the car. And on top of it, there's a goddamn girl locked in a van. So there's a couple things here at play that she's obviously a little stressed out about probably, right? And you go through and everybody sits down together at a point. They play some cards. And that's where everybody kind of gets oriented with each other, gets to know each other. They kind of get it's a little play on the whole what's your tell kind of deal, because this whole movie plays out almost like a game of Clue or like a whodunit at that point, because once this whole scenario is laid out for you, after that it's you kind of going back and forth on who's the person that owns the van. And they do throw a decent amount of twists at you throughout this, which is good, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the spoilers part, right? But here's the little part where they do the dialogue thing, and you get to see a little bit of them getting to know each other, and kind of you see what characters look a little sus, right? All right, let's play this.
Guy, huh?
4, guilty. Picked it up in the service.
2-5.
Picked it up in the service.
4, you're in the Army.
Ed, he's a military guy.
Marines. 22nd MEU.
My dad was a Marine.
Yeah?
And Darby's
served?
dad was a Marine.
3rd Battalion, 1st Marines.
Fallujah?
Yeah.
Some hard fighting.
Were you there?
Some hard fighting.
No. I stopped after Desert Storm.
Oh, well, thank you for your service, really. And then your dad, too.
Okay. Everyone always says that. And
Everyone
it
always
sounds
says
about
that.
As empty as thoughts and prayers.
Hey,
They're stuck in a
Nobody
situation that
knows
this
what
lady
you
doesn't have to be a
sacrifice
cunt.
yet.
okay.
I didn't mean to offend. I'm sorry. Really.
No offense taken.
This guy's all right.
You ever
Ed,
kill
he's all
you?
right.
Jeez.
This fucking creepy guy. That guy, his name is what? Lars?
Lars
What a
Kemp.
fucking creep that guy is. But either way.
Just kidding.
Okay, so basically, when she goes out and she finds out that this girl's in the van, things start to get a little tense, because she starts to look at everybody and then start to be like, what's going on? And then everybody else starts to look at everybody else periodically, because what else you going to do? You're there. You have nothing else to do but to watch each other, basically. It's not like they're all watching movies or something like that. And, okay, so then when things start to break out and the action starts to happen like you see in the trailer and everything, you see some fighting going on, you see you see a fire, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to spoil what exactly happens there, but this whole entire movie isn't just a slow dialogue based, whodunit kind of movie. Like, although I did say it is like that when this whole scenario gets laid out for you, it quickly jumps and accelerates really fast, and the whole rest of the movie is very fast paced, and it's a lot more action packed, and it's just an overall kind of like switch to the movie in general, and it never goes back to that like slow just dialogue detective kind of movie, and that's great. And I'm going to show when things start to get alarming and people start to get suspicious of each other of different things, like you start to see Darby kind of have to think fast and react and figure out how to handle the situation, because obviously you don't want to be too alarming when there's only a handful of you in a room, especially during a storm like this when you have nowhere to go. So I'm going to play this clip here. Lady's room is all jacked up. I mean, the place is, they opened it just for the detour, basically.
Robbie? Hey, are you okay in there? Look, if you need someone to talk to about your mom, I'm here.
Get in here. Get in here.
What?
Just, please.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, man. That's quick thinking there. But she also is smooching a stranger, which is very alarming. Super gross. And she doesn't even go and wash her mouth right after. Out of control. Okay. I'm just joking. But either way. Right? So you find out that Darby also has a little bit of an upsetting history. They don't really necessarily tell you if it's connected to any of her drug use or anything like that, but you find out that her dad was in the service and that he had committed suicide, right? And so overall, there's nothing that Darby really has as far as any kind of security blanket, no shoulder to cry on, whatever. So the great thing about this is when the conflict starts and things kind of get a little wild, you see her instantly go right into, kind of survival mode, and she kind of takes action and stays on course the whole time and doesn't really flee from the situation. And aside from obviously when she has to, because when it gets to a point, where she's trying to, free the child and everything, or figure out what's happening with the kid and stuff, she comes into sight with the character, right, that potentially abducted this kid. And she has to kind of hide and be stealthy and then figure out how to talk to other people and tell them what's going on. So that's when you see there where she's kind of, averting the eyes, being like, hey, don't think nothing of me. I'm just a wild girl here at the visitor center, just kind of passing the time. And it was a smart move, and it's pretty cool. And they do a lot of really tricky switches on you throughout the movie. There's a couple good twists and turns, especially in the end, that I'll talk about in the spoiler section. But overall, I want to get right to my review, because the rest of it I feel like is all spoilers from here on out. And my review overall, I'm going to give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. It's fun. Even in the beginning, where I would say it's fairly slow, there's a lot of dialogue and stuff like that. It's not it wasn't dreadful. It wasn't really boring. I didn't think anything too bad of it, because it's still kind of, you're trying to figure out how she's gonna get into the scenario. You're kind of feeling out everybody, and you're thinking about who could be the prime suspect right away. So I think they did a decent job with that. And then the other half of the movie, like I said, it just kicks it right up into high gear, and it's a fun ride all the way through. I enjoyed the other half of the movie a lot. So with that being said, an 8 out of 10, I definitely recommend no exit, right? So let's get into the spoilers now, because I really want to talk about some of the twists and turns of this movie. Spoilers. Spoiler. Boop, 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 boop. I say this shit every time. I actually say that every time I record the spoilers thing. It's not a pre-recorded thing. If you listen closely every time, I vary my spoilers. Sometimes I drag it out. Sometimes I don't. Maybe a couple. Maybe only one. Either way, right? So when Darby figures out who one of the prime suspects are, of course it's one of the guys you think is the suspect right away, and it's that creepy fucking dude, Lars, who's slimy in the corner that I pointed out in the one part of the video, right? And she's like, oh, crap. So then when she first finds that out, he goes to try to find her, and that's when she does the whole thing where she smooches up that guy. And after that whole point, she tells him what's going on, because she feels like this is the first person she can confide in, right? But here's the twist. He helps her out. She goes out to see the kid again, but she finds out that he is the other guy involved. There's another person involved, right? Because she goes and she gets the tape off the girl's mouth, and she talks to her, and the girl right away is like, well, where are the guys who kidnapped me? And you're like, wait, guys? There's multiple people. There's only a few people in this room, right? So that's crazy when that happens, and you're like, oh shit, things are definitely going to escalate really fast. And they do. So she's trying to figure out creative ways to handle the whole thing. This guy was getting creative with her to act like he was going to help ambush the guy. But it turns out he just got himself another creative bit of offense here, right? So that's pretty wild. And she's trying to run and hide and everything. And the whole time, my man, the Allstate dude, Ed, he's very suspicious of people. And this ex-military guy is like constantly watching and being like, what's going on? And where did Darby go now? And all this stuff, right? So he starts looking into what's going on at one point, because they all come inside, and then you see this kid frees herself and gets out of the goddamn van in the storm, which I thought was kind of wild. I'm like, yo, this kid's got some balls, like just gonna get out in a storm. Even me, if I was kidnapped and I looked out in the storm, and I'd be like, oh, dude, I don't even got like any boots on. Like, how far am I going to get? I'm going to be a goddamn icicle. What am I going to hope to jump through somebody's window? I don't know. I'd really have to think it out. I don't know. But as a kid, I was way more of like a little ninja than I am now. I feel like now as an adult, I'd be like, I ain't going out there in the cold. But don't you feel like you were a lot warmer as a kid overall? With anything, you could handle the temperature better. I can't now, that's for sure. Damn, I'd be like, I guess I'm still kidnapped, sitting in this damn parking lot when I can get out. But either way, so that's when everybody goes into panic mode, and things really start to go haywire, because when they finally catch Darby, they get her to go and find the kid who ran into the woods. And then a shot fires off, and Darby tries to run, and that's when Ed's like, fuck it, I'm going to see what's going down. And he finds the kid. And then shit goes crazy at that point, because you're like, oh shit, now he's got the kid. He's going to bring the kid back in the building. Like, what? So then he gets the kid back. Then Darby eventually gets back. There's a whole bunch of stuff in between, and there's a lot of good stuff. I'm not like giving you the 100% play-by-play of all the different loop-de-loops kind of deal, right? But eventually, like, it becomes a standoff, and they're trying to negotiate how to do this peacefully. But bottom line is, nobody's going to be peaceful in this kind of situation, right? Of course they're not. And Ed is pretty aware of that, the Allstate man, and the whole time you feel like, man, I'm in good hands. But it's about to go down. So at some point you find out this fucking kid wakes up from, like, she's sick. She's apparently on top of being kidnapped. She's fucking sick. So, oh, man, she's got to get medicine. So that's part of the negotiation plan. And this kid wakes up, sees the lady that's Ed's wife, and is like, wait, Mrs. Lowry? Like, she knows the goddamn lady. And it's apparently the cleaning lady or maid at her house. And she's this rich girl, and the girl treats her like shit. So she didn't do nothing and worked with these people to get her kidnapped. So now there's another twist. There's 3 people in the goddamn thing. So really, there's only what? 2 innocent people in the room? Well, and the kid, so 3. Holy crap. It's a wild situation, right? And then that whole thing breaks out, because then the lady's like, look, I'm not going to let this go down. Like, my man Ed doesn't have a gun. He can't do nothing. Come in here. And then shit goes down. Bottom line is, they get into a back and forth, and the one dude kills my man Ed, and then on top of it kills the wife, and then is about to kill Darby, and they nail her to a goddamn wall. And then they're trying to escape, and the whole nine. And at that point, the storm is, I guess, starting to settle slightly. So the text messages that she was trying to put through to her family and everything go through. And at one point, when she initially sees the van, she takes a picture of it and sends it to the police. And I didn't want to say that earlier, because I feel like that would start to give away what's going to potentially happen towards the end. And of course, the police are on their way when those texts eventually go through. So everybody's in panic mode, blah, blah, blah. The girl Darby gets her chance to kind of break free and hold the one dude hostage, and the guy accidentally kills his buddy. And shit gets even more wild. She runs off with the kid, tries to escape. She gets in an accident. Everything goes crazy. The cops show up. Another shootout goes down. I mean, Darby's hit. The cops killed. Things go pretty wild. I mean, it was a pretty good way to twist things about. And just when you think Darby's like kind of dead, can't fight back, like this dude's kind of having his joyride of shooting his last bullets of everything he's got out into everybody. And then he's going to be like, oh, I'll take the cop's gun and then I'll shoot Darby at the end and then I'll roll out of here. Well, then he goes to do that, and Darby has a screwdriver and fucking stabs my man in the neck, kills him. And then, now here's the only disappointing part where I would say, like, stop me from giving it maybe like a 9 out of 10 or something like that, or maybe an 8.5 or something, is at the end, they show it flashes over and she's back in the facility, but she's recovered and everything from her wounds and things are doing better. And they see a drawing on the wall, and you assume it's from the kid maybe that she had rescued. And then she's got a visitor. And you're like, okay, well, it's going to be the kid, right? Oh, no, it's just her sister that I guess is going to forgive her, and that's it. And you're like, well, you didn't really build any relationship really with the sister besides like some texts and stuff like that. Like, that really didn't do anything for me. At least if it was somebody bringing the kid by to see her and, say thank you and all that, that would have been a little more wholesome and you would have enjoyed it more. But you felt nothing with the sister. That was totally a waste. But either way, I mean, I thought it was a really good movie, and it wasn't just a whodunit movie where you thought it was one guy, plot twist, it was another guy. No, it was 2 people. No, it was 3 people. And then on top of it, the way things kind of escalated and got thrown back and forth where other people got the upper hand at different times, it was just a good time. I really enjoyed it. And with that being said, again, no exit. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Zuka2 out.
Dropping lines like an assembly. I'm staying on point. It's my strategy. Feel like they're tracking me. Yo, let me get on one. Nah, go get your tracks up. Homie, can I steal some? Homie, you can't stack up. My brother, can you shout me? You're barking up the wrong tree. My dog, why do you doubt me? Cause you can't do shit without me.
Real like the radio and never play it, but that's cool. The enemy's supposed to hate it.